Like in all honesty, we like Trump, but like sometimes I think he's going too far with that one. I mean, what the hell, bro? Like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notification. Let that bell ring you. And let's go right into it.
Designs on Greenland.
Yeah,
You have new reporting on designs on Greenland.
yeah. We remember early on in this Trump term, there was talk of like seizing Greenland, which of course we should note is considered part of
Oh no.
Denmark. The president and his team had sort of let it go over the last few months, but in the wake of the Venezuela operation, it is very much in the forefront. Active discussions in the White House, and again, preliminary stages. They haven't settled anything yet. But whether it's to try to trigger a vote there in Greenland, or try to put cash payments to see if they buy Greenland, or suggest to citizens there that they should, want to become American, and even the outside shot of military force, Greenland.
That sounds so stupid. Like, for real, that sounds stupid. Become American. I mean, it's not considered to be part of Denmark. It is part of Denmark.
Want to become American, and even the outside shot of military force, Greenland is very much back in play here as President Trump and his team look at their sphere of influence in the Western Hemisphere, and that's created
Switzerland, not part of that. Influence. It's yeah.
a real crisis in Europe, and particularly in
We got
NATO.
problems too.
And we have a pretty remarkable joint statement on Greenland this morning. It was co-written by leaders of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, the United Kingdom, and Denmark. It reads in part this way. NATO has made clear that the Arctic region is a priority, and European allies are stepping up. Security in the Arctic must be achieved collectively in conjunction with NATO allies, including the United States,
Of course.
by upholding the principles of the UN Charter, including sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the inviolability of borders. These are universal principles, and we will not stop defending them. The United States is an essential partner in this endeavor. Greenland belongs to its people. It is for Denmark and Greenland, and them only, to decide on matters concerning.
I mean, like, we get it on the Venezuelan part. Like, they like you could tell that story with like, yeah, the cartel and drug trafficking and the Maduro being part of that whole scheme. But you can't just like start invading every other country. I mean, what the hell is that? Leave Greenland out of it.
Denmark and Greenland. So David French,
Oh yeah.
I feel like this is a breathtaking statement.
Yeah.
Let's just reiterate, the president and his teams are interested in Greenland are for its minerals, for its strategic location. There's a lot of shipping routes there. China and Russia have both tried to make inroads into the Arctic, so there's defense purposes. Denmark has said if the U.S. simply wants to build a new base or a radar installation, just ask. We'll say yes. They're not fighting that. They're simply saying, but hey, you can't have it entirely. And the fact that
Of course not.
these
I mean, like, what does he think
would think that this moment calls for this statement, calling out the U.S. repeatedly by name, shows that they think that if the U.S. were to move on Greenland, it could potentially shatter the NATO alliance.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be super clear here. Any designs that Trump has on Greenland are not about national security for the very reason you just outlined. Our designs on Greenland are actually threatening our national security because they threaten our most important alliance with many of the most powerful nations in the world. And these are nations that, as much as the Trump administration's.
Yeah, I've read it too. Like, it's a strategic. It would be a strategical move to like own Greenland for like Russia, back down China. It will make sense. It will make sense, but like honestly, bro, that's a stretch. Like,
To denigrate
Trump, that's a
Europe and
stretch.
try to cast it aside. These are still nations that have real economic strength. They have real military strength. We depend on them to a great deal for our own national security. So fracturing our most important alliance
Yeah.
would not be in America's national interest. What this is about really is Trump's own vision of what national greatness means for him. And it's about expanding territory. It's about dominating people around.
That's
And
true.
that has never
It's
been the
not gonna end
key
well.
truly of American power. American power has always been at its best when it's been cooperative, when our alliances are cooperative. This is one of our key advantages over the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union dominated, we cooperated. And that created a real dynamic pulling people towards us and repelling people from the Soviet Union in the Cold War. And here we are acting like we are entitled to dominate. This is not about our national security. One of the problems with nationalism is it almost always devolves into militarism because it's
That's
through
true.
military.
That's true. They always power it with militarism. It's always military and by force. Look, man, I don't know what really to say about that. It's just wild. I guess let's keep going.
Achievement and territorial expansion that nationalists feel like they've expanded the majesty and greatness of the nation. But make no mistake, if we annex Greenland, if we engage in an act that threatens the very existence of NATO, we are harming our national security for generations for the ego of the Trump administration. It would be a terrible turn of events.
Yeah.
So, Doug Brinkley, to that point there, is this a moment where Republicans should?
Now the stupid. Now, yeah. I guess let the idiot talk.
Put some checks on the president's foreign policy, the loss of soft power, the potential misuse of hard power. I'm thinking of my dad, all these global relationships shattered, the support of NATO just washing away. That's a real thing at this point. If they don't hold the president accountable on some of these things, is it the world that's going to end up holding the United States accountable, and it won't be pretty?
I don't think the Republicans are going to hold them enough accountable, but I do think, as we just saw, the European NATO allies will. I think it's a head fake, Greenland, in the sense that Donald Trump likes to talk about it. He sees it. He wants the real estate. I would keep my eyes on the Panama Canal.
That's a great point. But let's be honest, he's all about those resources, the national debt. There's literally a page where you can donate money to the U.S. government to help lower the debt. And then, Venezuela is just for show. We know that. And Greenland is for show too. So I really hope NATO and Europe hold it down. We got to. Otherwise, yeah, they will hold you accountable eventually. That's just it's such a stupid approach. I don't see the big picture. Roast me, hate me, whatever, but I don't see the big picture.
Zone. I was about 9 months ago, and then look at Cuba. When buried in a lot of the story of Venezuela is about 32 Cubans that were killed that were there. I once went to Venezuela to interview Hugo Chavez, actually for CBS, and all Chavez wanted to talk about is every day he sent a letter to Cuba, and that Castro and him had this correspondence, Chavez, and the amount of the intelligence that Venezuela gets from Cuba added to that Mark Rubio's animus towards Cuba. And then in the Panama, I don't think they're going to invade Panama, but
can't just invade
zone. They're going to go.
They can't. You making with those kind of moves, you're making more enemies than allies.
I believe is the one place U.S. troops may go to fortify to protect the Canal Zone, and as a way to do it, tell China, don't mess with this is our canal, because Trump's long, he's learning again, Theodore Roosevelt and the Panama Canal and Taft and Wilson. But the Jimmy Carter's deal, he's always felt of the Panama Canal Treaty was the worst real estate, the dumbest deal ever. And so he's, I think, going to see that as the Canal Zone as a linchpin.
Author and presidential historian Douglas Brinkley, thank you so much. And opinion columnist for the New York Times, David French, thank you as well. His new piece is available online.
Yeah. Oh my God, bro. Don't worry. We're not holding everybody accountable. I mean, like, I would rather vote for him. Shame isn't going to stop him. You need rage and action, obviously, not just you. Putin is just like what? He's just laying back and enjoying the show. It is. You see that, guys? Top comment was that as well. Considered. They keep saying, talking, like they keep mentioning the word considered, like it's not a real thing. It's about power. It's a strategical move. It's literally about, and the UN and NATO just needs to back down. Nah, I mean, like they really need to like stand up and back him down, because otherwise he's just getting out of control. Always open for new ideas, new perspectives. Tell me what you guys think. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.